This is one of the dangerous animals. They can eat anything, even bigger than themselves. Grabbed their prey on the head or on the face, squeezed it tighter and tighter and began to swallow its prey whole.
Snakes are known for their big appetites, but believe me, what they can devour can leave you amazed. Be it living or non-living things, you won't believe what these creatures have ingested. In this video, we are going to have a closer look at the 7 things which were found inside the stomach of the world's longest snake. No, we are not talking about the snake's internal organs. So let's jump right into its mouth. Number 6. A Cape buffalo. In the forests of South Africa, a giant python was seen struggling and then swallowing the calf of a Cape buffalo. One of the South African game conservation officers luckily caught the whole video on camera. It was a calm evening in the outskirts of the South African savannah, when a group of Cape buffaloes were grazing peacefully among the bushes. But unfortunately, they were not alone. A cold-blooded serial killer lurked behind the shadows of the thick bushes. It was a huge rock python. A calf unknowingly got too close to the big snake, and within a blink of an eye, the snake struck at the young calf and rolled its coils around her and then swallowed it wholly. Pythons generally do not target prey which are smaller than its size, but in this case it went for something more than it could chew. The officer says it was for the first time that he was seeing such a spectacle during his entire years in service. The snake, after swallowing, took rest for a few hours, and when night fell, it slowly slithered away without a sweat. Number 5. A 5-foot crocodile.
This is one of the dangerous animals. They can eat anything, even bigger than themselves. Grabbed their prey on the head or on the face, squeezed it tighter and tighter and began to swallow its prey whole.
In 2014, on the shores of Lake Mandara, near the Issa Mountains in Australia, a huge scrub python was seen wrestling with a giant croc just outside the bank of a river. While on a vacation sightseeing trip, a group of tourists recorded the clip of a giant 10-foot-long python constricting its prey for a staggering 5 hours in the intense sun. In the video clip, the snake can be seen totally stretching and wrestling the crocodile for 5 straight hours, and was only releasing its grip when half of the croc was inside its own body. Now that is a very hungry python. Number 4. An alligator. In 2005, down in the remote part of the Everglades National Park, Florida, officers stumbled upon some animal carcasses, a 13-foot Burmese python and a 6-foot American alligator. It turned out the python had tried to swallow up the alligator, but things went south literally. The python's stomach burst, leading to the demise of both creatures. American alligators belong in the Everglades, but Burmese pythons don't. These pythons are invaders, and they've become quite comfy in Florida, harming the ecosystem by snacking on native species. Over 144,000 Burmese pythons were imported to the U.S. in the last 5 years. They're sold cheap when they're tiny, but they grow up huge, up to 20 feet long. Many snake owners decide to release them into the wild long before they become giants. An animated recreation of a battle between a python and an alligator suggests the python survived a big meal, but was later bitten on the head by a second alligator, causing it to burst. However, even some scientists involved in the show doubt this theory. Wayne King, a reptile curator, points out that the alligators typically don't cleanly bite off body parts. They usually grab, roll, and spin to tear chunks of meat. This makes the clean decapitation of the snake seem unlikely. In the Everglades, conflicts between alligators and pythons have been increasing for the past 2 decades. Some experts doubt this theory, and the ongoing conflicts between alligators and pythons in the Everglades highlight the challenges of managing the python population. Number 3. A whole kangaroo.
Just found this snake at the back of the caravan, and I'm whispering because you can see it's eating a kangaroo. Oh my God.
A ginormous 17-foot python made quite a shocking mealtime appearance in Cooktown, Queensland, Australia. This scene occurred just a few steps away from a family caravan park, and the enormous snake was in the process of swallowing down a poor kangaroo, which seemed pretty helpless. A video captured this incredible spectacle as the python, bit by bit, managed to gulp its marsupial meal by unhinging its jaw in different parts to accommodate the sizable kangaroo in its mouth. Helen Smart, who filmed this astonishing feat, was quite surprised. In a hushed voice, she said, "Just found this snake at the back of the caravan, and I'm whispering because you can see it's eating a kangaroo. Oh my gosh, it's so big, it's humongous. Poor little kangaroo." As the python neared the end of its meal, it only left behind the hooves and tail, and then gracefully slithered over the remains to finish its hearty dish. Helen couldn't believe her eyes and described it as the biggest snake she'd ever seen. "We're used to seeing snakes around here, but this was easily the biggest one. Its mouth was humongous," she said. Number 2. A wild boar.
And back at base, we found a huge python that had just been killed. This one had recently fed, and the size of the lump inside gave us all a horrible thought. It was big enough to be a human.
While hiking in Sai Kung, Hong Kong, a hiker stumbled upon quite a scene. A massive python snacking on a wild boar. This unexpected meeting occurred near Sak Yu Wu, as shared by SK Shum, who organizes the Hong Kong hiking meetup group. Surprisingly, it's not that unusual to come across these big snakes in Hong Kong. According to Shum, it seems the python takes at least an hour to swallow the boar because it's quite a hefty meal. Shum offered some wise advice if you ever find yourself in a similar situation. If you see a snake in the middle of its meal, it's best to keep quiet, slowly move away, and let the python enjoy its feast undisturbed. This encounter was captured on video and caused quite a buzz on Facebook, with over 1,000 comments. Some folks had a sense of humor about it, with one person joking that the snake was celebrating the Mid-Autumn Festival with a big mooncake, and another said, "Let the snake savor its dinner in peace." The video was even shared over 6,000 times. Number 1. An electric blanket.
While eating his monthly meal of rabbit, swallowed an electric blanket.
It was at night when I fed him, and then the next morning I looked, I can't find that blanket anymore in there.
So Carl called his vet.
He goes, "I promise you, I fed the rabbit on the blanket. The rabbit's gone and the blanket's gone. I don't know where they are."
A series of x-rays later was all the doubtful doctor needed.
And lo and behold, all I saw was all these electric wires inside this snake.
In a rather unusual and daring rescue operation, a 12-foot Burmese python named Houdini had to undergo surgery after it devoured an entire queen-size electric blanket, complete with the electrical cord and control box. The python's owner, Karl Beznoska, explained that the blanket somehow got mixed up with the snake's dinner, a rabbit. Interestingly, he kept the blanket inside the reptile's enclosure to provide warmth. The good news is that Houdini's prognosis is looking bright, as shared by veteran Francis Pet Clinic in Ketchum. He mentioned that experts at the University of California Davis School of Veterinary Medicine advised them that it would have taken Houdini around 6 hours to swallow the blanket, and the snake might not have survived without the surgery. X-rays revealed that the blanket's wiring had traveled about 8 feet into the python's digestive system, requiring an 18-inch incision to remove it. Both Botsved and his colleague Barry Rathfon had never operated on a snake before, but they got guidance from specialists. Houdini, who had been part of Beznoska's life for 16 years and often visits local schools as a show-and-tell guest program, will need some time to fully recover from the anesthesia, because snakes have a low metabolism. There you have it, guys. As we reach the end of this video, tell us which item consumed by these pythons did you find the most unbelievable. Also, if you haven't already, consider liking and subscribing to the channel in order to not miss any of the new upcoming videos. Also, consider sharing with your fellow snake enthusiasts as well. We will see you in the next video.